Hey bro, wanna go from this to this? Stay in this video and I'll teach you how step by step. Hey there, it's Wolfido talking to you, and in this video I will teach you how to create those beautiful tires that you saw at the intro of this video while keeping them low poly but at the same time having a great texture. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, so before actually going into the tutorial, I'll need you to download and install these two add-ons here, this ImagePaste add-on and these UV squares add-on. Alright, those are needed to continue with the explanation of this video. Alright, so please take a second and go install them, and then you can continue watching this video. Alright, so after you install the add-ons, then we need to find some nice blueprints for our tires, okay, for our vehicle tires. And so I found this Walmart. Thanks for providing this beautiful pack of blueprints. So yeah, you need like a side view picture of a tire and a front view picture of a tire. This is not needed that much, but yeah, it's better if you got two sides of the wheel. Alright, so let's go into this one and copy image. So with this add-on that just installed, we are going to use the beautiful function of that add-on. Alright, so pressing Ctrl Shift and V, alright, this will import our image from our clipboard. Alright, so let's move it just a little bit. Alright, and let's go to front view with numpad 1. Alright, so let's take this front view of the tire, copy, and Control Shift V. Alright, there we go. Okay, so let's scale them down just a bit. Let's place them right here into the middle of the axis, just like that. Same with this one. Right, okay, let's move this just like that. Okay, so now let's check if these two are correctly scaled. So let's add a cube here, let's scale it down, and let's take a look. Let's scale them to the top and to the bottom and make them even. Let's make it even, just like that. Okay, so it's barely touching the top and barely touching the bottom. Now let's go to side view, and alright, it's correctly scaled because this is barely touching the top and barely touching the bottom as well. So let's delete this, and now let's start with our wheel tire. Okay, so now let's add a cylinder here, and here you can choose the quality or the resolution of your tire. Alright, you can choose a 24 or 32. The less, the more low poly it will be. Alright, so I will go with 32, and let's keep going. Going to front view and rotate just like this. Let's scale it down just like that, and let's place it somewhere here like that. Yeah. Okay, so now let's scale it in the X axis. Alright, so let's press S for scaling and Shift X just like that. Alright, let's go into front side view, and let's make it bigger. S and Shift X just like that. Whoops, let's put it here. There might be some mistakes with the scaling of the photo because it's not perfect. Alright, so yeah, so now here let's add a loop cut here. Right, let's select this face and press X vertices just like that. Alright, so now let's add a modifier, mirror modifier. Where is it? Mirror modifier, and let's choose Z. Now we have this mirrored, so whatever we do here, it's going to affect this side as well. we go into edit mode and we select this face. Okay. Also, for selecting between vertices and edges and faces, you click 1, 2, and 3. Alright, 1 for vertices, 2 for edges, and 3 for faces. Alright, let's start by creating an inset face, just like this, and while holding Ctrl, you can make it more to the outset or inset. Alright, just like that. So let's create it a bit to the. Alright, so now let's create another inset face, just like this, and let's leave it like there. Alright, so let's go into side view, and let's create another inset face for this hole that we're going to leave there, and let's press X and faces, just like that. Alright, select this ring here and you will get selected all this ring. Okay, so now let's move this to the inside of the wheel, just like that. Alright, nothing too crazy, but nothing so little, like I guess like that. Alright, so now you may be asking, bro, this looks so fucking blocky, what the fuck is this? Okay, so let's right click and shade smooth, just like that. Okay, so now we have our wheel already with a shade smooth, and it's smooth enough, and it's looking low poly, it's looking fine. Now let's go and apply a material, just like this, and let's name it nice tire, just like that. Alright, so now let's compare this, let's make this a little bit thinner, okay, just like that. This is for practice only. Alright, so if you fail while creating this for the first time, it's okay, don't worry. Remember, practice makes the master. Alright, so after we applied this material, let's go to UV editing. Alright, after moving into the UV mapping, let's do a right click and convert to mesh. Alright, this way we are going to apply the mirror modifier. Alright, and there we go, then it's all mesh. Alright, so let's delete this, we don't need that, and let's select everything with A and click UV Unwrap. You can also see it creates a very ugly UV map. Alright, so how to fix this? Well, we are missing for UV seams. Alright, these seams are created like this. Alright, these are UV seams, so let's add them correctly. In this case, we are going to add a seam here, selecting all this ring, this edge loop, right, and selecting this one as well. So we right click and mark as seam, just like that. And let's also add a seam in these 3 edges, just like that. Alright, and mark seam, like that. So now let's press U and click Unwrap. Okay, so this message is still appearing, so let's go into object mode and press Ctrl A to apply scale. If Ctrl A doesn't work for you, then you have to press F3 and type here apply scale, and you click this one. After this, after applying the scale, let's go into UV and press U and Unwrap. Alright, so we have this UV layout, let's make it beautiful. Let's give some space between all these UV islands. Alright, pressing the L key, we are going to select this, and pressing the G key, we are going to move this. Let's move this so it has some space, just like this. And you can see here, this is not a perfect square, so the add-on that we installed, the UV squares, will help us to make it a perfect square. Alright, so with pressing N, this menu here will pop up. You have to select this island that you want to make it a perfect square, and you click to grid by shape, just like that. We have a perfect square. If your UV is something like this, it's gonna be a mess. Alright, because this cannot go out of this tiny box. Alright, so always make sure it's inside this UV box. Alright, so we are done here in Blender. So now let's go into File, Export, FBX, and let's create a new folder called Text Files. Remember, organization is key for artists. Alright, so export, and let's open up Substance Painter. Alright, now here in Substance, let's go into File, New, and let's select our file that we just exported. In Text Files, there we go. Alright, you can copy this, are my settings that work very good for me. If you want, you can copy them. If not, well then, just do whatever you want. Let's click OK. Alright, once this mesh appears in your screen, it means the mesh loaded correctly. So now, let's go into here, this little icon, Texture Set Settings, and click Bake Mesh Maps, just like that. Alright, here now, let's change the output size to 1K, just like that, and bake. Alright, once baked, let's return to painting mode, just like that, and let's start texturing. Seems like we need some rubber texture, so let's search in our assets here. Alright, oops. Let's search here and let's search in Smart Materials, this icon here, and let's search for rubber, just like that. I think I'm going to use this rubber tire material here. Alright, so let's delete this layer 1 because we don't need that, and there we go. We have a beautiful wheel, but this is not all of it. Alright, we still need more detail on this little wheel. Alright, so how do we do that? Let's go into it. Create a new fill layer here and select only height, just like that. Alright, only height. Tweak it a little bit, just like that, and add a black mask into it, just like that. Now you have to click here in projection fill, or I don't know the name of this thing. Click there and go and click into the assets icon, just like that. Alright, okay, so now I have prepared some pre-made masks that we are going to use into our texturing. So after you download them, please do the following. Click here into this little plus icon and click Add Resources. So now select your resources here, this, and also select these threads. Alright, so now we are going to change this to alpha in every item in the list, just like I'm doing. Now let's change this to library your assets, so this will stay there forever. Let's close this, and after you import them, you'll have this tab here, and all the textures that you imported will be displayed here. Now let's do the best part. Okay, so let's close this for a bit. Let's change the name for this layer to threads, just like that. So here, let's click the mask here, and let's go back to the assets part. Drag and drop this to the grayscale box here, just like that, and here we have an ugly image in our screen. Alright, let's go into 2D only so we can modify the UVs directly, just like this. And what are we going to do? Well, we are going to paint through these black spots so the mask knows where to paint and where not. I'm going to choose this texture here, and I'm going to press S, and with right click you can make this bigger or smaller, just like this. Alright, still needs just like this, and let's make it bigger. Oops. Let's make it bigger, just like that. Right, almost there. S, let's make it a little bit bigger. Alright, I think that's, oops, still no. Let's make it bigger. Holy fuck, okay. And let's make it centered. I guess it's good like that. So now let's make this a brush bigger with pressing Ctrl and slide the right click, just like that. Now let's paint into this, just like this. If you get any issues here with the painting, and if you get this painted as well, make sure you have this property called alignment to UV. alright, because sometimes it gets booked and it looks bad. Alright, let's go now to 3D only view, and let's click this to disappear that. Okay, this looks a little bit weird. Let's tweak the height amount. Okay, this looks better. This looks better. Alright, just like that. Okay, let's add now a new fill layer, and let's call this Sidewalls. Okay, the same method. Let's select height map only, and let's tweak this a little bit. Now let's add a black mask, and let's go to the bottom of this, to the grayscale, and go into this asset section. Here you can choose whatever tire you want to use. I'm gonna go with Goodyear, just like this, and let's change view to 2D only. Alright, just like that. Let's make this stencil smaller with pressing S and sliding the mouse, pressing the right click. Alright, just like this. Let's make it a little bit bigger. S, right click. Right, now let's center it. Right click. Alright, so now that you have this centered, you have to paint into it, just like this. You paint. Let's see how it looks on the 3D view. Holy fuck, bro, this looks pretty nice. Okay, so now let's paint the other side of the wheel. Let's go into 2D only. Let's select the mask here, and let's paint. Also, to move it like this, you have to press Alt and press the mouse wheel as well, just like this. So now let's center it so it looks perfect. That's it. And let's paint. Just paint like this. So let's see now how it looks. Looks pretty nice, it's in my opinion. And I mean, for a low poly tire, this is more than better. Alright, so now that we have our tire textured, let's go into File, Export Textures. Let's change the location where the images are going to be generated. Alright, so here in our main folder, let's create another folder called Text Images, just like that. Select it, and now here in our texture set export settings, let's deselect normal, and let's deselect these two as well. We click export. Alright, so we have our textures here already exported. So now we're going to go to this website here, this beautiful website, and let's drop our height map. Alright, here let's change it to 6.5, just like that, and let's copy this name and paste it here, but instead of height, let's type normal, just like that, and download. Alright, so let's go back to Blender and click on the shading tab, just like that. Click this green main shader, principal shader, and press Ctrl, Shift, and T. Alright, now we have to select the textures that we generated, except for the height map. Okay, so everything but the height map, and click here. Alright, so we can see our tire here, very beautiful looking, very nice. After this, let's go into File, Export, FBX, and let's create a new folder named Roblox Files. Alright, just like that. And here in the scale, I like to change it to 0.1 and change the name to Tire Pro. Okay, just like that, and export FBX. Alright, so you have to open up Studio now, and let's import the mesh by clicking Import 3D. Alright, find your location here and export the FBX. Here we have our FBX here on the 3D preview, and so let's click Import. Once imported, you will see this mesh that looks very horrendous. So we have to select this mesh like this. In render fidelity, change it to precise. Now we can make it smaller. Now you have this beautiful looking tire for your Roblox game. Oops, let's change it to double-sided, just like that. This looks hella nice, bro. This looks hella nice. And okay, this is the way you get this beautiful, nice looking tire for your Roblox game, for your Roblox vehicles, or any game engine, to be honest. If you want me to teach something else, please let me know in the comments, or you can DM me at Discord and I'll be happy to help.